Rebecca Colton had been looking forward to the trip. She and her friends from Binghamton University in upstate New York planned to spend the weekend at Stratton Mountain in Vermont to celebrate the final semester of their senior year. It was the same mountain where she had learned to ski at 3 years old. The last thing she remembers is getting picked up by friends the morning of March 13, 2021. Days later, she woke up in the ICU, paralyzed from the neck down and on a ventilator. I was told that I had a very bad fall, says Colton, now 24, who lives in Long Island, New York. She says she was on the mountain for 10 minutes and had no pulse when rescued. Luckily, someone skiing by saw me, she says. They happened to be an EMT. He got ski patrol to transport me off the mountain. She was transported to Dartmouth-Hitchcock Medical Center in New Hampshire with a C1-C2 spinal cord injury, which is at the highest point of the spinal cord. She could no longer move her arms or legs or breathe on her own. Colton recalls thinking that her life was over. It took a few days to sink in because I was definitely on a lot of medication, and then my body was in shock. But now, 3 years later, she's found solace in sharing her story on social media using humor. It's just part of my personality to make jokes about serious topics, she explains. It helps me cope, especially with my injury. Many of my TikTok videos have a darker humor tone. Looking back on her journey, Colton reflects on being in the ICU for 17 days before being discharged to Spaulding Rehabilitation Hospital in Boston, a specialized facility for spinal cord injury rehabilitation. There she underwent intensive therapy for 4.5 months, and eventually received a diaphragmatic pacer, which allowed her to breathe independently without a ventilator. She encountered numerous challenges along the way, including pneumonia and stomach problems, which lowered her morale. Yeah, I wanted to give up. I was mad at the world, mad that someone had saved me at a certain point, she says. To help, she turned to painting, initially to improve neck strength and mobility. They just did it to get my neck moving and strengthen my neck, she says. I was frustrated because I couldn't do anything because my neck was so stiff. It was hard for me to do, but I got better at it. After her time at Spaulding, Colton spent an additional 4 months at Glen Cove Hospital on Long Island, where she continued to paint. An art therapist would hold the canvas in front of me. I have a mouth stick that I attach the paintbrush to. From there, it goes in my mouth, and then I paint. To this day, she still paints. She shares her work on TikTok, and also sells them online. Etsy in bio.